Hi there, this is Jeanette Comerford for Whimsy Stamps, and in today's video I have a birthday card for you featuring this very cute cupcake from one of Whimsy's clear stamp sets called Let's Party, and I'm going to show how I used masking to stamp the image multiple times. I'm also going to be coloring everything up with Prismacolor pencils and using Gamsol to blend it up, so I'm going to be taking you through that process. So the first thing I did was I took some pattern paper from Whimsy. This is their Summer Breeze, I believe the collection is called. And I'm using the nested hand-stitched rectangles to create a frame. So I'm using the two largest ones. I am positioning them together. I put a little post-it tape there to hold it together while I'm cutting it out with my big shot. And there you can see I have my little frame. And then I took some Nina cardstock and I cut out the smaller rectangle, and that's what I'm going to be stamping my image on. I have a A2 sized card base here, and I'm just taking some foam tape and I am cutting it in half so that I can adhere it to the back of the frame. You can see that I'm doing it right here. Just laying the strips down and cutting off the excess. And I misjudged and I had to cut a little more off and just finish up the frame. You need to have the entire frame covered or it will buckle and bend if you send it in the mail. So now I'm just pulling off the strips. Having a little bit of a hard time with that one. And I'm going to adhere that onto my card base. So now I've placed that panel that I cut out onto my MISTI, and I'm pulling out the two stamps that I'm going to be using. So here's the cupcake, and there's the sentiment, and I'm positioning them exactly where I want them to be on the paper. Then I can close the lid and the stamps will adhere to the lid, and then I can just stamp them. So I'm taking a little piece of post-it paper and I'm stamping a mask with the cupcake. I'll put that aside now, and now I'll ink up both the sentiment and the cupcake. So now I can take that mask and I can cut it out, and once it's cut out I can put it over top the cupcake. So it's important that you do the center cupcake first and then mask it. That way it will be in front of the other two. So I'm just using a little bone folder there to make sure it's pressed down nicely, and then I positioned the cupcake stamp again and I'm stamping it. I will clean it off and let it dry, and then I will position it onto the other side. So you can see with a little bit of masking paper and this MISTI tool, it is super easy to make a card using just one image. Just pull off that masking paper now and we can start coloring. So I pulled out my tin of Prismacolor pencils and I'm just picking a light and dark color for each cupcake. So I picked some greens, some orangey reds, and then I'm going to do another one in Aqua. I have some of them that are sort of set aside. The ones I use often are in a little cup holder there. And then I will start laying down the color. For the icing itself, I'm just using two shades of a very light yellow colored pencil, and I will list all the pencil numbers below this video on YouTube, and I will also leave them on my blog so that you can refer to them if you want to use the same colors. I'm just making sure that my blending stump doesn't have any residual color on it, and now I'm taking some Gamsol and I'm just blending it out, just pulling that color towards the center and softening it all up. My first cupcake is going to be green, so I'm taking that lighter green and I will just blend it out. And this is really simple Prismacolor pencil coloring. Nothing too elaborate. I just want a simple little birthday card, just using two shades of each color. And you can see when I start blending out that darker green, you can see how it adds a nice little shadow. And then I just took a white Prismacolor pencil and I just colored in the center to just bring a little pop of light. You can see I'm doing that there. And move on to the center cupcake, and this one I'm doing in a sort of, I guess, a corally, sort of orangey color. So that's my lighter one. And then I'll bring in the darker one, blend that all out. And add the light with the white pencil in the middle. And you can always go back if you think it's not dark enough in the edges or at the edges. You can certainly go back and add more color. For this final cupcake, I did end up using just one color. It's quite a pigmented pencil, so I just used one coloring pencil for that, and then just added some highlight with the white Prismacolor. I'm going to move over to the candles now. Just blend those out. And then I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the candles, but in the end I decided to match the candles to the cupcakes, so I could have basically colored those at the same time, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do until the cupcakes were colored. And now I'm just using the 3 colors from the cupcakes, and I'm using those for the letters in the word birthday. So I'm just alternating the colors. And you can see how fast this is. This is a really quick and easy way to make a cute little birthday card. Now I'm just using my tea ruler. I'm going to ground the cupcakes so they don't look like they're floating in the air. So I'm just using a gray Prismacolor pencil and just adding a little bit of shadow underneath them, and that's just sort of makes them look like they're sitting on something. I'm going to add some tape to the back, and then I can just pop it into place on my framed card. I took a very dark gray Prismacolor pencil and I just blackened up the eyes and added a little white highlight. I'm going to do the same thing with the letters here. Then just to fill in some of that empty space, I decided to add some sequins. And you can see I had quite a few on, then I decided to remove a few. And I'm just using my Zig Glue pen and my pickup stick or quick stick, I'm not sure what it's called, just to adhere down those sequins. I took a Sharpie poster white paint pen, just added a few dots here and there. It's pretty hard to see, but they're there. And then I took some glossy accents and I added that to the candle flame, and I also added it to the letters. So that's my card done. Thanks so much for watching. A full list of supplies and links can be found below this video on YouTube or on my blog.